Hi there, Dr. Dave here, and it's time to rise and whine. Roy Campanella was a Hall of Fame baseball catcher for the Brooklyn Dodgers in the 1940s and 50s, and his career ended when he had a car accident that left him paralyzed from the shoulders down. He was being treated in a New York rehab hospital and had really turned inside himself, didn't want to see other people, didn't want to interact with other people. And the staff felt that interacting with others was an important part of his recovery and getting back on track. And they would famously put Campy in his wheelchair outside the hospital on the sidewalk where he'd have to interact with others. And there was a young boy from the same rehab hospital out on the sidewalk with him, and they would talk. And one day the boy was there with a baseball, and he asked Mr. Campanella if he would sign it. And Campy, referring to his pretty obvious injuries, said, well, you know, I'll sign it, but it won't look like very much. And the boy said, that's okay, Mr. Campanella, I'm blind. And that was sort of a thunderbolt moment for Campanella, who realized that he had never, in these conversations with the boy, asked the boy anything about himself. And it was transformative in him realizing that he really did need to get outside of himself and start noticing more in the environment and the situations around him as part of being on the road to recovery. And I think in life, sometimes when we're experiencing something bad, we have a tendency to do the very same thing. It's natural to just kind of focus inward. There's an interesting study, though, of runners, and they had runners who ran the same routine or the same course over and over again, day after day, and runners who ran on a novel course and saw new things and had to pay attention to what was around them. And both of the runners, both groups tended to report sort of aches and pains, which is natural in doing that. But the runners who ran on the novel course reported fewer of them, and they experienced them as less bothersome. And what's interesting about that is when we start focusing on the world around us and start taking in things, there is a tendency to pay more attention to what's out there instead of the things inside that might be bothering us. So it's really a lesson for me to pay a little bit more attention to what's going on out there in the universe. Not only do you get to see and experience new things when you focus your attention out there, but sometimes, as with the case of Roy Campanella, the universe has some really interesting things to teach. I hope you have an outstanding day, and thank you for spending a minute of it with me.